Have you ever had that feeling where you know the words, you know the grammar rules, but you still feel like a robot when you speak? It's like you're reading from a manual instead of actually connecting.
Oh, I see it all the time, Alex. People get so caught up in the correctness of English that they forget language is a living, breathing thing. It's supposed to have a pulse, you know?
Wait, hold on a second. Isn't the whole point of learning a language to be correct? I mean, if I start throwing around baby and my love, like the source text suggests, I'm going to look ridiculous, right?
That's exactly why we're here today, Ariel. We're diving into this idea that English doesn't just have to be functional. It can be attractive and it can be, dare I say, irresistible.
Exactly, Alex. It's about moving from transactional English, where you just exchange information, to relational English. It's about how you make the other person feel when you're talking to them.
Okay, but let's be real. If I'm at a job interview or talking to a stranger, I can't exactly say, "Hey, baby, I was hoping you'd talk to me today." That feels like a one-way ticket to an HR meeting.
Fair point, Ariel. But I think the spirit of the advice isn't just about the specific words. It's about the confidence and the playfulness. It's about breaking that robotic mold.
Right. Selena here. Think of it as a spectrum. On one end, you have the textbook. On the other, you have total charm. Most learners are stuck on the textbook side, and it's boring for them and the listener.
So you're saying we should sprinkle in a little spice, even if it feels a bit cringe at first? I'm just worried about sounding like I'm trying too hard. You know?
I get that, honestly. But think about the phrase from the text. I like talking to you, my love. You make my English better. That's not just a sentence, it's a compliment and a confession of effort.
It's brilliant because it turns a weakness, the fact that you're still learning, into a point of connection. You're saying, hey, I'm trying, and you are the reason I want to try harder.
I guess that does hit differently. It's much more human than just saying, I am practicing my speaking skills with you. That sounds like something a cyborg would say.
Exactly. Alex here. We want to help our listeners move away from that cyborg energy. So, Selena, as our expert, how do we actually start feeling the language instead of just studying it?
It starts with intonation and rhythm. In the text, when you say, hey, baby, there's a pause. There's a shift in pitch. You aren't just spitting out syllables, you're creating a mood.
But what if my accent makes that mood sound weird? I feel like I have to focus so hard on just pronouncing the th sound that I don't have brain power left for mood.
That's a huge hurdle for a lot of people, Ariel. But here's the secret. People actually find accents charming. It's the hesitation and the fear that make the conversation feel awkward, not the accent itself.
Spot on, Alex. In fact, research shows that people are more attracted to speakers who show vulnerability. Saying, I'm still learning, but I can make you smile, is the ultimate power move.
Wait, really? A power move? I always thought of it as admitting I'm not good enough yet. You're saying I should lean into the learner status?
Absolutely. It's about owning your journey. When you stop being shy about your mistakes and start playing with the language, you become the most interesting person in the room.
Let's look at another example. Instead of, I like talking to you, try adding a little warmth. I really love our conversations. It's a small change, but the word love carries so much more weight.
Okay, I can see that, but I'm still stuck on the baby and honey part. Is that just for romantic situations, or can we use that charm in everyday life?
Well, maybe don't call your barista baby, unless you want a very confused look. But you can use the energy of it. It's about warmth. It's about using words that show you're present.
Exactly. You could say, it's so good to see you today, with a genuine smile. That's the same charm mechanism. You're adding feeling to the standard English greeting.
So, it's less about the specific flirting and more about the connection. I mean, I guess I've been treating English like a math problem, where there's only one right answer.
And that's the tragedy, Ariel. Math is great, but English is music. You have to find your own melody. Selena, what's a try this moment for someone who wants to start today?
I love this exercise. Tonight, find one phrase you say every day, like, how are you? Or thank you. And try to say it with 3 different emotions. Say it like a secret, then like a celebration.
Like a secret? How are you? That actually feels kind of cool. It makes me focus on the person I'm talking to rather than just the words coming out of my mouth.
See? You're already getting it, Ariel. It's that shift in focus. The text says, fluency is not just about grammar. It's about how you make people feel. That's the heart of it.
And honestly, people will forgive a grammar mistake if they feel a connection. But they won't remember a perfectly grammatical sentence that had no soul.
That's a bit of a relief, actually. I've spent years worrying about the past perfect tense. But maybe I should have been practicing how to be more, well, charming.
It's never too late. Think about the last line of the text. I don't know why, but I love listening to your English. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
It really is. When someone says that, they aren't complimenting your vocabulary. They're complimenting your vibe. They're saying they enjoy being in your presence.
So, what about the shyness part? The text says, the moment you stop being shy, that's when people start listening. But you can't just flip a switch and stop being shy.
You're right, Ariel. It's not a switch. It's a practice. It's about taking small risks. Maybe today you don't say, hey, baby, but you do add a my friend or a it's so good to hear from you.
I agree. Shyness often comes from the fear of being judged for your mistakes. But if your goal is to be charming, a mistake can actually be a funny, relatable moment.
Like laughing at yourself? Oops, my English is acting up today, but I'm still trying to tell you this great story. Something like that?
Exactly. That's incredibly attractive because it shows confidence. You aren't defined by the mistake. You're defined by your willingness to keep going and keep smiling.
It's the difference between being a student and being a communicator. Students want to be right. Communicators want to be understood and felt.
I'm starting to see why the source text uses such romantic language. It's the most extreme version of connection. If you can master that, a business meeting is easy.
That's a great point, Ariel. If you can handle the vulnerability of being playful or attractive in your speech, then simply being engaging in a professional setting feels like a breeze.
Let's talk about the phrase, you make my English better. Why is that so effective, Selena? From a linguistic perspective? It's what we call positive face saving. You're giving the other person credit. You're making them feel important. Everyone wants to feel like they have a positive influence on others.
It's like a little gift you're giving them. Hey, just by being here, you're helping me grow. I mean, who wouldn't want to keep talking to someone who says that?
Honestly, I'd stay and talk for hours. It's all about that emotional payoff. Alex here, and I think we often forget that people are selfish. They want to feel good when they talk to us.
Exactly. If you make them feel good, they'll associate your English with that good feeling. They won't even notice if you forgot to use the third person as on a verb.
Wait, so you're telling me I can stop obsessing over he walks versus he walk if I just have enough charm? That sounds like a cheat code.
Well, Selena might disagree as an expert, but in the real world, yeah, it kind of is a cheat code. Charm covers a multitude of grammatical sins.
I wouldn't say stop learning grammar, but I would say prioritize the connection. If you're so worried about the S that you stop smiling and go cold, you've lost the conversation.
That's a really good way to put it. The cold robot versus the warm learner. I think I've definitely been the cold robot more often than I'd like to admit.
We all have. It's the safe way to speak. But safe is boring. And like the text says, you don't just want to speak English, you want to be remembered.
Let's look at the secret mentioned. Fluency is about how you make people feel. Think about the most charismatic person you know. Do they use big words, or do they just feel present?
They definitely feel present. They look you in the eye. They use your name. Wait, using names. That's another way to be attractive in English without being too flirtatious.
Yes, it was great talking to you, Selena. Sounds 10 times better than just, it was great talking to you. It's personal, it's direct. It has that charm we're talking about.
And it shows you're not just reciting a script, you're acknowledging the specific person in front of you. That's what the source text means by, "Stay with me, my love. We're just getting started."
It's an invitation to a journey. I like that. It's not just a 30-second lesson. It's a whole new way of looking at how we communicate.
So, for our listeners who are sitting there thinking, okay, I want to be more attractive in my English, but I'm terrified. What's the first step?
The first step is to change your internal dialogue. Stop telling yourself, "I'm bad at English," and start telling yourself, "I'm a charming person who is mastering a new tool."
I mean, that sounds a bit self-helpy, but I guess if I don't believe I'm interesting, why would anyone else? I have to be convinced of my own charm first.
Exactly, Ariel. You have to feel it before you can use it. Like the text says, don't just study, feel it, play with it.
And don't be afraid of the word play. Language is a playground. Try out a new expression, use a funny voice, exaggerate your excitement, see what happens.
What if I try to be charming and it just bombs? Like the other person just looks at me like I have two heads?
Then you laugh. You say, wow, that sounded better in my head. And guess what? That moment of honesty is actually very charming in itself.
Exactly. You can't lose if you're being authentic. The only way you lose is by staying in that robot shell where no one can truly see you.
I'm starting to feel like the grammar is just the skeleton, and this charm is the skin and the eyes and the smile. You need both, but one is definitely more attractive than the other.
That is a perfect analogy, Ariel. We've spent so much time building the skeleton, we forgot to give it a face. Alex here, and I'm definitely going to try being more playful in my next conversation.
Me too. Even as an expert, I can get too academic. I need to remember to say, "I love how we're exploring this together," instead of just, "This is a valid linguistic point."
And I'm going to try that "I'm still learning, but I can make you smile" line. Maybe not with a stranger yet, but definitely with my friends.
That's the spirit. It's all about those small steps. Before you know it, you'll be the person people don't know why, but they love listening to.
And that's where the real magic happens. That's when doors open, friendships deepen, and the language stops being a barrier and starts being a bridge.
I'm actually excited to practice now. I mean, usually English practice feels like a chore, but this feels like, well, like a game.
It should be a game. It's the best game in the world. So, to all our listeners out there, don't just scroll past this advice. Take it, use it, feel it.
Try one charming phrase today, just one. See how it changes the energy of the room. You might be surprised at how people respond when you stop being a robot.
And if you're feeling brave, maybe even try a "hey baby," but maybe keep that for someone you already know. Let's start with "I really like talking to you" first.
Wise words, Ariel. Let's start with the warmth and work our way up to the irresistible level. But the key is to start today.
Remember, you're not just learning English. You're learning how to be you in English. And you are much more interesting than a textbook.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. I don't have to be a perfect English speaker. I just have to be a charming me who happens to be speaking English.
Exactly. Alex, Selena, and Ariel here. We're so glad you spent this time with us. Now go out there and make someone smile with your English.
You've got this, my love. See? It really does feel different when you say it like that, doesn't it?
Okay, Selena. You've convinced me. It does sound better. I'm going to go practice my charming voice in the mirror now.
We'll see you in the next episode where we'll keep breaking down how to make your language skills truly shine. Until then, stay confident and stay charming.
And don't forget to play with your words. They're yours to own. Make them dance, make them sing, and most importantly, make them connect.
Hi, everyone. I'm off to go make my English attractive. Wish me luck.
You don't need luck, Ariel. You just need to be you. Thanks for listening, everyone. We're just getting started.
Honestly, I think we have hit on something really special here. The emotional intelligence of language is so often overlooked.
I agree. It's about being present. It's about that spark. I'm definitely feeling more motivated than I have in a long time.
That's exactly what we want. Growth isn't just about adding more data to your brain. It's about expanding your ability to connect with the world. And charm is a huge part of that.
Think of it as a gift you're giving to the listener. You're making the effort to be engaging, and people really appreciate that effort.
It's like when someone learns a few words of my native language just to say hello. It makes me feel so good. This is the same thing, just on a deeper level.
Exactly. It's the bridge between stranger and friend. And it all starts with a little bit of feeling. So, one last time, don't be a robot.
Be human, be warm, be attractive. Your English is already better than you think it is. You just have to let it breathe.
I'm ready. Let's do this. See you all next time.
Take care, everyone. And remember, we're still learning, but we can already make you smile, right?
Perfectly said, Alex. Perfectly said.
All right, let's wrap this up. We've talked about the attractive factor, the robot trap, and the power of connection. I think our listeners have a lot to chew on.
Definitely. It's a shift in mindset from how do I say this correctly to how do I say this beautifully?
I'm still a little nervous, but like you said, Alex, the vulnerability is part of the charm. I'll embrace the awkward and turn it into attractive.
That's the spirit, Ariel. You're going to do great. And to everyone listening, keep playing, keep feeling, and keep speaking.
The world is waiting to hear your voice, the real, charming, non-robotic version of it.
Catch you later.